Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what food isn't worth the effort to be homemade? I made my own chipotle aioli after having a sandwich in a restaurant and loving the sauce. Food processor, eggs, oil, seasoning, and some trial and error resulted in a pretty good sauce, and a lot of cleanup. I later learned the restaurant just mixes chipotle powder into Helmer's mayo. Aioli is typically not real aioli in most restaurants. Mayo is just too close of a substitute, and people are turned off by the word mayo. I hope to one day read the whip of miracles on a menu. And I'll be sure to ask the server who is Miracles. Pronounced like an ancient Greek hero. The author of the book Make the Bread, Buy the Butter combed through dozens of typical foods and determined which ones are worth producing yourself and which should be purchased. Strongly suggested. The book also includes recipes and color commentary, and it's a lot of fun. Is it worth writing my own book or just buying a pre-written one? First you should develop your own language to write it in. It's better that way. Phyllo pastry. Even Paul Hollywood says to just buy it frozen because it's not worth it. Also Gordon Ramsay says the same thing. Yes. This is a perfect example. There's a great book called Make the Bread, Buy the Butter, What You Should, and Shouldn't, Cook from Scratch to Save Time and Money, which outlines exactly what this thread is about. Edit, thank you kind strangers for the awards. I think it is the first time I've gotten an award in the 8 years I've been on Reddit. Watching Babish make puff pastry from scratch always makes me laugh. Sure, I could just go to the supermarket and buy puff pastry, and yes it'd be easier, and no I wouldn't be exhausted, and yes it'd probably taste better. I forget where I'm going with this. I've made homemade ramen fully from scratch, noodles, the broth, the chashu, whole 9 fucky yards, literally once in my life. Once. Never doing that shit again. Why does ramen cost $15 plus? Oh right, because it takes fucking days to make properly, lol. I will also never make it again. The interesting thing is that it's super cheap in Japan. If you make 2 servings then you'll spend several hours preparing all the different ingredients, even when the stocks are already ready. If you made those ingredients in, say, 20 times the amount, you'd spend almost the same amount of time. This makes ramen very easy and cheap to make in large quantities. Many ramen shops in Japan have pots of stock that simply never stop boiling, and they constantly have all the ingredients ready so that they can serve you a fresh bowl in 5 minutes. The reason why it costs $15 plus in the USA and Europe is mainly because it's served as something exclusive. In Japan you get great ramen for half the price, because ramen is seen as the informal type of meal that you have quickly during your lunch break. Once we made homemade Coca-Cola. It was amazing to see the absolutely crazy different flavors that go into it, and this crazy broth to slowly become such a familiar smell. Came out right on the money. Then we went and bought some Cokes. My dad made root beer once. While it was delicious, a bunch of the bottles exploded. Fortunately the full bottles were stored in the garage, so at least the kitchen remained unscathed. Happens with a lot of those beverages. My grandma used to make sambucus lemonade and would give a few bottles to my mom too. One day my mom came back from a trip and found the bottle storage area covered in very small glass pieces, and one of the bottles was gone. All that was left was the butt of the bottle and the top with the cork still in. Rest of the bottle basically got pulverized. I've had multiple people try and make tater tots. You can't recreate the magic with low effort. Yeah, if I want tater tots and don't have any frozen tots to stick in my air fryer, I'm just going to make hash browns. It's not the same, but it's close enough, and hash browns are way easier. But they gotta be crispy hash browns, none of this half-cooked soggy crap. Why should I pay $10 for pad thai when for $15 I can buy the ingredients and make a much worse pad thai? I loved that tweet. Crackers. I made them from scratch and it was more trouble than it's worth. This is my hash one. Takes a while to make, seconds to eat. The only crackers I've made that are worth it is a Rainforest Crisp knockoff, because those things are super expensive. Anything with puff pastry. I am that idiot who makes their own puff pastry. I just like doing it. I'm not terribly good but getting better. I draw the fucking line at phyllo, though. My aunt was a professional baker for a long time. According to her, if you shop at Costco the answer is cheesecake. She was always particularly good at making cheesecake and she fully believes there's no reason to put in the effort because the ones they sell are that good. I haven't had her homemade cheesecake in a long time so I can't compare, but those Costco cheesecakes are the bomb. Also, my cat loves to sleep in the lids. Edit, cat tax. Cat in lid tax, please. Here you go. https://imgur.com/cszlgzc.jpg. Removed. Those copycat recipes rarely seem to come out like the real thing, anyway. You have to scroll through 18 pages of their fucking life story, disgustingly saccharine sweet bullshit about their stupid crotch fruit, and endless ads just to arrive at a copycat recipe for KFC wedges. And it has you bake cubed red potatoes sprinkled with ranch seasoning. Fuck you and your kids, Karen. You promised me KFC and you gave me Betty Crocker's drunk musings. Anything deep fried is better bought from someone with a fryer the size of a bathtub / a pressure fryer. Your tabletop fryer drops 50 degrees when you drop stuff into it because it hasn't got the thermal mass to take it, unless you like frying a half dozen fries at a time. Croissants. I spent hours trying to make those ones and the result tasted fine but they weren't croissants. Getting the layered puff pastry right is beyond my skills and it's an absurd amount of work. Now I just buy some if I want some. Edit, people, please stop suggesting Pillsbury. I'll buy them at a bakery. Put the ones Pillsbury sells in cans are a crime against bakery. A crime anyways. This video is about industrial frozen croissants vs croissants made from scratch by bakers. At the end they have a pastry chef do a blind test and she ends up picking the industrial one as the best. So, yeah. Dough conditioners, precise temperatures, and large volume production are nearly magic. A well-conditioned dough with some MSG, or an oolong-like yeast extract, will beat a handmade baked good pretty often. Especially if the handmade good and produced good both look perfect and can't be told apart visually. I've never made it myself but I watched Babish make Baked Alaska on his channel and that looked like a real chore for what amounted to a $15 ice cream cake from Baskin-Robbins. Edit, so I forgot Babish's Baked Alaska was part of his Sims video and not an independent video, so if anyone wanted to watch it here you go. https://u2.be. Recently my housemate took a shot at a full from scratch Baked Alaska. It was absolutely gorgeous, he got the fire on it perfectly and everything. The taste too was incredible. I was so happy he decided to share it all, and he was immensely proud of having pulled it off successfully but soon as we dug in to eat he said enjoy that, I'm never making this again because it was such an incredible pain in the ass to make all of it from scratch. I got real Baked Alaska once in high school when I happened to visit a friend's house on his brother's birthday. That guy's mom was a champ. There were like 5 kids, their dad was a fisherman and gone a lot. Mom put fresh-made food on the table every dag day and managed to make things like Baked Alaska. I don't remember the meal but I sure remember the dessert. I think he even said it wasn't worth it if I remember correctly. So if a person who cooks for a living says it's not worth it, no way am I going to find it worth it. He's made a lot of things that he later suggests you just buy it. I'm the kind of guy to go all the way in making things myself. Bread, pasta, pizza, burger buns, flour tortillas, sushi, etc. all from scratch. Never again am I trying to make mochi ice cream. Hard, long and frustrating. I asked my boyfriend if he thought it would be hard to make the other day. Guess I have my answer lol. I've been trying to make steamed buns and it's hella hard. Steam a basket, making the dough, and sometimes it just doesn't come out right. I wish my town had more Vietnamese places. I made char siu pork buns once and it took ages for something that still came out so crappy. They tasted right but they were so huge and not that beautiful white color. In my local Asia supermarket I found that I can buy them for £2.50 for 6. Fie, the beautiful white color comes from an extra refined Hong-style bleached flour. Find it at a nation market and you should get the appropriate color and texture. I've been wanting to make bao but this is exactly what I'm afraid of. For me, anything fried. Deep frying at home takes way too long, and it usually doesn't taste far much better than store-bought stuff. Also macaros. Fuck those lil guys, they take hours and don't even rise half the time. The effort isn't what makes frying things suck, it's the fact that I now smell like a fried thing from standing over it. The whole house does for hours lol. I have a deep fryer, but cleaning that thing is absolute hell. I usually just use a thermometer and my Dutch oven. Dude, same. I ditched the deep fryer and just use the cast iron Dutch oven. So much easier and cleaner. Can make fried chicken that comes out just like Popeyes in it. Tamales. As a Texan, tamales are life, but I never knew why they were so damned expensive. Then I tried to make them. The recipe and ingredients are easy, but assembling the damn things takes 4 arms and 92 fingers. I will happily hand my money to some nice abula for them so I never have to lose my mind with sticky masa ever again. One time my South Asian dad came home from the store the day before Christmas, with a giant bag of corn husks, and asked my mom, "Is it hard to make tamales?" My mom nearly lost it. But the day after Christmas our whole family got up at 7 a.m. to make tamales together. I think I'd only do it again with a large group and a bit more of a heads up. My friend said that his grandma would host a party with all her grandchildren and have them help her assemble lol. He said it was fun and wonderful memories. Tamales are a group activity. 2 words, assembly line. There's a reason we only make them during Christmas with the entire family around.